What's up, Leafs Nation? Welcome back to another After Dark, game number 40 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season as they defeat the Boston Bruins here tonight, 6-4. We will discuss here tonight the amazing night by Matthew Knies, the immediate answers that the Bruins continued to have here tonight against this Leafs team and how they were always able to find a way back and always able to get themselves within one or tie the game here against this Maple Leafs team. We'll discuss all of that. We'll discuss the first line, how dominant they were. We will break it all down, and as we go throughout the course of the show here tonight, it is a presentation of Bet365, proud partner of the Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation After Dark. Head on over to Bet365 today and open an account and bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. That's code NATION, all caps, N-A-T-I-O-N. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Make sure to check out Bet365 today. We'll dig into our best bet later on in the show. We'll get to our play of the game. We'll get to our grade of the game here as well. And we're going to answer tons of questions in the chat. And as we do so, like we do on any given night, we answer super chats here as well. If you guys want to send those over, we do have a very cool new partner this season. We have a charity sponsor for the super chats here on the show, and that would be Sick Kids. Yes, that is right, ladies and gentlemen. You want to send super chats during the show here tonight. They do go to Sick Kids. Just an amazing initiative that we're running here on the show. Honestly, it's our charity partner. You hit us with a super chat. Proceeds from a super chat will go to Sick Kids, Canada's first children's hospital and a top research-intensive children's hospital in Canada and third in the world. That's right, third in the world. If you want to send a super chat, click the $sign within a live chat. Live chat must be visible. You select one of the following: a super sticker or a super chat. You select the amount and then you click buy and send. We will read all of them on the show throughout the course of the show here tonight as well. So very, very cool initiative that we're running. And as always, the show is presented by Bet365. Very cool as well. Couple other things for you guys before we continue to break things down. One thing to note: you guys keep hitting those like buttons. We get to 50. We get to 100. We'll do smelling salts for every set of 50. So keep hitting that like button here on the show tonight. We'll break it all down and we will do smelling salts. We will do super chats for Sick Kids. We'll talk about Rosie getting all fired up over Matthew Knies here tonight. We'll talk about Robert Smith, who was all horned up here in the chat before we even got to anything. And we will talk about maybe recap what is going on in U.S. Czechia right now as we currently speak. I think it might actually be wrapping up, but regardless, it's an exciting night of hockey. Exciting night, especially if you are a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, as they do defeat the Boston Bruins here tonight on the back of Matthew Knies, who finds a way to get on the board with his first career hat trick. His first career hat trick could not have come at a better time, as that line here tonight was absolutely dominant against this Bruins team. I mean, we're talking about a line where you're reunited with Austin Matthews, a guy who has not... I mean, this is the thing that people don't understand. And this is the thing, I put out a video on Twitter before the game that people were like arguing with me over. And the point is not that Matthews is bad or Matthews is taking on the play or what, etc., etc., etc. The point is more so, do you need Austin Matthews right now? Like, someone's getting mad at me right currently and tweeting at me over and over about how many points the first line put up. I know how many points they're capable of putting up. And Matthews, before he went out with injury, by the way, was putting up points still. He just didn't look like the Austin Matthews of normal. So going into this game, and if you watch the game preview, if you watch the video put out on Twitter, my entire point was just, what's the purpose of having this guy in there if you risk injury, if you risk him going back out here again? Why not give him a chance to heal and go and get some rest and come back? He says he's fine, and you know what? Credit to him, because everything he did here tonight in this game, he was involved in he was just involved in every forecheck, every physical play. He was not scared of anything. He was engaged physically, which was a positive sign. Like, I was kind of half expecting him to, like, maybe pull the shoot on some plays, pull the shoot on some hits, and I wouldn't really, like, obviously you want that long term to go away, but tonight I wouldn't really have blamed him if that was going to be the case. It would have been more so like looking at the coaching staff and being like, what the hell is going on? But he comes back, and he's playing on a line here, by the way, with Matthew Knies, who a lot of you guys in the chat have been writing off, saying, oh, it's time to put Nick Robertson in that role. It's time to take Matthew Knies out. And while we've been pretty honest on the show about Matthew Knies and his level of play over the last little while, one thing that we've said, and we've had other people coming and joining us on the show and talking about, and Vic has brought it up and we've talked to about, and Nick has talked about this as well, was this is a kid who's proven he could do it, and he proved he could do it over a longer period of time. Like, he proved, hey, this is not just a small sample size, a flash in the pan, 3 games in a preseason that showed me that, hey, I can score goals. We just kept saying, let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance because he can get back up there. And tonight he gets back up there. He admitted it himself and said, I've not been good enough. As Vic said in the show on Tuesday, he came out and was like, thank you guys for finally asking me because I'm going to get out of this. He plays a great game on New Year's Eve, as the boys talked about there. Plays in the following game on the 2nd against the Islanders, and all of a sudden starts ramping things up, just didn't find the back of the net. And then here tonight, 3-goal game. Could have potentially had 4 if Marner passed him that puck, which I don't think he should have. I want to be clear about that. I don't think he should have. I think that was a smart play by Mitch Marner, but could have had 4 if Marner forced it across. I'm just kind of pointing out the play. Does not end up doing so, but Matthew Knies' first career hat trick. That line was out of their minds here tonight. Like, to win this game the way that you did, and having the big boys show up, having them dominate this way, looking down at the stat sheet, I mean, Matthew Knies, 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points, he finishes a +6. Mitch Marner, 1 goal, 4 assists, finishes a +5. Austin Matthews, 1 goal, 2 assists, finishes +5. What a spectacular night for those guys. What a spectacular night for a first line that showed up and said, we're not going to have it. We're going to ram it down your throats, and we are going to absolutely take over in this one. So kudos to them. Kudos to Austin Matthews. And I thought that was just an unbelievable performance by those guys in a game that you knew was going to be tough, physical, and the Bruins were going to have answers for you in. We've got a bunch of super chats here. Let's get to these now because I feel like they'll kind of continue to talk about what we're on here. So let's start with this first one. Robert Smith of the super chat. Robert, thank you. He says, these rotten kids still after my money, are they? With a smiley face, Robert. Yes, any and all money, it does help. It goes to an amazing cause there. Proceeds going to Sick Kids Charity. So thank you for the super chat there. And yes, that is where it's going. The next super chat that I want to get to here, Ostenomino. Super chat, combined 13 points for the top line. Yes, 13 points for that top line. They were out of their minds here tonight. Finding ways to contribute, finding ways to kind of generate. They started off the very first shift. They almost got scored against. And then after that, it was just lighting it up from that point on. Like, they were creating chances. They were winning battles. I mean, looking at some of the shifts that these guys were having too, like, think about the Knies' 3rd goal. That was effectively almost entirely winning battles, winning races. You're strong on the puck through the neutral zone. The puck goes in down below the goal line. It's all the way down for Austin Matthews, who goes in there and makes a physical play on the defenseman, gets inside positioning on the puck, boxes him out, gets his stick open around the side of the net, makes a pass to Matthew Knies, who's coming crashing down the middle, gets that puck and puts the top corner post and in. Just a beautiful play by him, but it's also just started by good, smart hockey. There were a lot of things that were happening ahead of time for this line for this group tonight that was like, yeah, the goal was nice, but did you see what happened before that? Did you see what led to that play? Like, think about even the Jake McCabe goal, which is another one that stood out to me. And not just for the fact that it finally breaks this goal drought of the defenseman who can't find a way to find the back of the net, and Jake McCabe does. He gets his first goal of the season, and it's something Vic called these guys out for the other day and was like, goalies can't find a way to or the defense goalies, well, no shit, the goalies can't. The defenseman can't find a way to score here. We're starting to get some depth scoring. You're getting contributions from third line, getting contributions from your fourth line. What are you going to get from the defense? Because as much as we say, hey, they're not here to score, you need everyone contributing. And it doesn't just have to be finding the back of the net, but just contributing offensively. And the defense have lacked that over the last little while. Jake McCabe finds the back of the net here tonight. But it's a play by Matthews and Marner that leads to that. The puck goes in, it's rimmed around, Matthews gets to the wall there, he wins a battle on the boards, and as he wins that battle and lifts the Bruins player's stick, it's Marner who's coming in, who picks that puck up off of the bounce out, grabs it as he's going to the net and drawing attackers in, finds Jake McCabe across the other side, who's coming in across over the blue line there as well, and he finds a way to score. 4-1 US, by the way. That thing is over. But yeah, and then it's that first line doing the right things, the little things ahead of time to allow those moments to happen. And those are just positive things because those are situations that you look at in the playoffs. And oftentimes I feel like I could have said after the fact, we were missing this. We were missing battles won there. We were missing races won. You're not getting in there. Those are like playoff plays. Now, this isn't perfect. It's not the perfect formula. There's a lot that can be worked on here tonight by these guys, but that's much more in the direction that you need to go to have success in the postseason than what they've played previously. Robert Smith also said, that was a joke, by the way. I had a 1-year-old with brain seizures, so I know all about sick kids. I knew it was a joke, but for those of you in the chat, Robert there clarifying, it's a joke as well. So, yeah, he was joking. Yes, we know. That's why Robert is donating. I think Robert donates every single show just to send money to Sick Kids charity. So, Robert, we appreciate you. I knew it was a joke, but to anybody else out there who didn't, it is a joke. It's all good. Don't worry about it. There is another super chat here, though. Okay, another super chat here for the show tonight. This super chat, Michael Borland. Michael, thank you for the super chat. This just continues on the first line, but I think they deserve a lot of credit here tonight because even without the hat trick, this guy was unbelievable. Michael Borland, great win. Welcome back, Matty. Nyes was awesome. Didn't love them giving up goals right after scoring themselves multiple times. So let's break this down kind of as we go. Great win. Yes. Agreed. Welcome back, Matthews. Yes. Interesting one. And again, back to my point of that I was making earlier before the game even started was it's less so about like, oh, this guy's going to be bad or anything like that, or he's not going to contribute or help. Like, that's not the point of me saying Matthews, I was surprised he was playing or I thought he should have sat out and rested. The point is more so like, you didn't need him, right? The team was doing well without him. You want him to be healthy, whatever. But surprising to say the least that he gets back in here. He does. He has an unbelievable night. Michael Borland, though, saying Nyes was awesome. Didn't love them giving up goals right after multiple times. So let's start with Nyes is awesome. One of the things, too, even without Matthew Nyes scoring a hat trick here tonight, he was unbelievable. I think he kind of fit right back into what Berube has been demanding of him, and kind of said publicly, and he said publicly about his game and what he needed to be doing and how he needed to kind of be like advancing and what he got away from following his injury. And that would be this physical play, this reckless abandon, this pinball like style of hockey, bull in a china shop type hockey, where it felt like he kind of turned the dial down, was a little bit more reserved over the last little while. And then over the last couple of 3 or so games, he found a way to kind of turn it up. And he's engaged in the physical play a whole lot more. He's getting himself to the front of the net. The tip goal, beautiful play there. The goal that he scores from Matthews is him going to the front, going through the slot, going to, obviously on that one, he gets himself into a weaker spot and he's kind of open and is able to just bury, because no one's around him, and Matthews puts a perfect pass out there, and then he finishes with a perfect shot. But it's also just him being willing to drive to the front of the net, not be too pretty, just make the smart play. How many times here tonight did we see him driving down the wall in the offensive zone, going towards the net, crossing the blue line, and then just bang, cut across, make a move, get a shot off, or try to get a shot off, trying to get to the slot, trying to get within that home plate area. He was doing all these little things that he had kind of gotten away from, and where we kind of look at this team when things aren't going that well and they're not generating that much, and all these mistakes are happening or the scoring's not there, it's because they play peripheral. Not Matthew Knies tonight. He was doing these things. The first line and as a whole was doing these things. I thought the second line pretty much was doing these as well, but they were going to the front of the net and trying to get themselves to the middle of the ice, which is a huge positive and something that Matthew Knies can be and will be continuing to push and suck these guys into, because it just drags everyone into the fight and kind of changes the dynamic of a game. So credit to them for that there as well. But because I thought that was just fantastic stuff by Matthew Knies. I know that I'm going in circles and saying some of the biggest cliches of all time talking about this, because it's just big body, plays hard, not scared, blah, blah, blah. But the guy was the physical embodiment of a unbelievable power forward here tonight, and the dominant physical presence that he had every single time he went on the ice. Credit to Matthew Knies for this game, because holy fuck, he was awesome, and he deserves all the flowers that we're going to give him and the chat's giving him here for this show tonight. The other thing, which is a little bit more on the negative side, but I'm going to also go and flip it to the positive here. The other thing in that super chat, Michael Borland said, didn't love them giving up goals right after scoring on themselves multiple times. Agree 100%. Agree 100%. And that's something that is not excusable and you need to clean up going forward. So I'm not going to give them a pass on that. Yes, you need to tidy that up. You need to make sure that that's not something that you're going to have happen regularly, because that's something that kills momentum in the playoffs. That's something that kills momentum in important games. Think about how we talk about this all the time. It is, one, so difficult to score at 5-on-5. It's so difficult to score in general in the playoffs. When you do, you cannot take it for granted. The second thing on this would be, specifically if you're at home. Actually, it goes both ways, right? If you're at home, you go up. Think about this. You go up in the playoffs. You're playing Boston. It's game 6. You're in an elimination game. You're got an opportunity to close out Boston. You go up 3-2 in the third period, and the building is buzzing, going nuts. It sounds like the roof is going to pop off of Scotiabank. Close your eyes and put yourself in this situation. You're sitting in your seat. Matthew Knies scores. You're up 3-2. You have a chance to eliminate the Boston Bruins. You're right there. You're this close. The arena, it's going nuts. There's rally flags waving. Everyone's going berserk. 16 seconds later, the puck is in the back of your net. It's a tie game and everything's wiped out. The arena's quiet. The fans are going, what the fuck just happened? They're on edge now. It's a tie game. There's 17 minutes left in the third. It feels like the next goal wins. And it feels like if you score, they could score right away again, because they just did it. They feel like they shut you up. Like they've got the edge now. That's your home barn. Boom, gone. Flip to the other side. Go into Boston. You take their crowd out of it. 6 minutes left in the third period. Chance to win. Game 7. Advance. You're up 3-2. Beautiful goal. Top corner from the slot. Matthew Nyes takes the lead. Their arena's quiet. It's dead. Boston's sitting there. Sad faces on the bench. They look out of it. Lost. Upset. Like they've called it quits. They've waved the white flag. They snap it back on the faceoff. They cross center ice. They dump it in. They win the battle. Hit a guy out front. He scores it. The tie game. The building's going nuts. The Leafs are sitting there now wondering what the fuck just happened. How did we get here? Why are we tied? The Bruins fans are going nuts. Shipping up to Boston is playing. Whatever the Kerncraft 400. Zombie Nation is going nuts. And the Leafs are on their heels. You have to eliminate those plays. You have to eliminate those. Because those are momentum killers. They are absolute daggers when it is so difficult to score. And it's just something you got to take away from yourself, from your body of work as a whole, especially in the long term. So I just want to point that out. Dennis Rodriguez, lack of concentration. I think that there's probably an element to that. I think it's like, it's just... You know, you take your foot off the gas for 1 second, you sit back and you say, we can be comfortable, things are okay, we've got the lead, yada, 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 and next thing you know, oh shit, it's tie game again, we're right back in this thing. And at that point, it is like, uh-oh, and you're on the wrong side of it. Now, where I want to flip this and give credit, I feel like the middle of the season, and maybe it's just because of me, and maybe because I'm also 6 1/3, that sandwich sounds delicious. He's in the chat right now talking about how unbelievable his grilled cheese sandwich is. I'm jealous. I had white rice and chicken tonight. I thought I had vegetables and other things to throw in there, and I didn't. I had a white plate with chicken breast with like my seasoning on it and white rice. And I was like, what the hell is this? Why is there no color on this plate? I thought I had vegetables. I didn't. I had that and hot sauce. So yeah, I'm jealous of your grilled cheese sandwich right now. And you're kind of making me hungry as you're talking about it. But back to the game. My point is with this. my point is when it comes to this one is you gave up those goals which kill you. Diz K, I thought I had broccoli, dude. You give up those goals that can kill you. The positive here tonight is that you didn't let it kill you. And I think that that's something that's so different of the makeup of this team than years past. Dare I say, different. You know, I hate using that word, but I kind of have used it as maybe the most common. Carter Hutton came on and said it. Rosie came on and said it. Nick, I think, has said it at some point here, even though he's not as enticed to jump on the, the regular season matters, or like anything we see in the regular season is who they are as a whole train, which I think is fair, but we've heard it. We've heard that word numerous times. Doing Merrick's show, I've heard the word different. And it's like, it makes me nervous. It makes me feel gross, but I feel like there's actually truly something here that is, you know what? They are somewhat different. And I think that not letting those goals scored in a game like this kill you and kill the fans and kill the momentum is a huge testament to the group and the mental maturity that they're starting to display here, thank God, because it took a long time for them to start to do this in their careers, but that mental maturity and where we started to get to with these guys, because this is something that has been lacking in years past, and it feels like the Bruins score one of those goals and it's a tie game, and then next thing you know, they've got the lead. Or they didn't get the first one, you make it 3-2, they tie it up right away 34 seconds later, and then they score after that one, and that one is more of a dagger because it's later in the game. Like, this is what the Bruins feels like. They constantly always have an answer for you. It's something we've tried to answer the question ourselves here when we ask it constantly on the post-game show, when you guys ask us on the post-game show, when I flip it around and point it at you guys of what's going on. Like, those are moments when I'm like, shit, why do the Bruins always have an answer? Well, they had an answer tonight, but the Leafs had an answer right back. And maybe it's a one-off. Maybe it's not a constant thing. Maybe we don't see this every time. But it's true. And I thought that was a testament to the group here tonight. I did. So kudos to them for finding a way through it. Scout the Wookiee says, Zack, bro, that's a big L for supper, dog. Yeah, it was. Dude, I made this chicken. I went to the gym, as Diz K there says, Zack is getting swole. Trying. I basically went to the gym like every day. And then started the Merrick show, was so busy. I don't think I went to the gym for like 4 weeks. Came back from Ottawa at New Year's and was like, we're right back in this thing. I'm drinking enough water that I got to piss every 5 minutes. I'm eating healthy. I'm eating ripping broccoli, avocados, protein shakes. Like, we're doing the whole nine. But I went to the gym, came back, threw the chicken in the oven. I'm like, we're good. I got the white rice there. I'm like, I'll fire up some vegetables. Realized I finished off the vegetables last night and didn't have what I thought was in the fridge. So yeah, that was an L. That was an L on my behalf. We've got like you guys talking about the best way to make spicy ketchup in there with your Franks and some Heinz ketchup, and you stir it up. Like, that's the move. That's what I'm doing here as well. It's a good play. That's a good play. You know what else is a good play? If you don't know, I mean, you must be living under a rock, because a good play is the Nation Vacation, taking it to Music City. From March 20th to 23rd, we're packing our jerseys and heading to Nashville to watch Toronto take on Nashville in their own barn. We're talking hockey action, honky-tonk vibes, and the kind of memories that'll only come when you roll deep with the Nation crew. Flight packages, we've got them. Prefer to handle your own travel? We've got non-flight options too. Whatever works for you. Just get yourself there, because this is going to be electric. Spots are limited, so don't miss your chance to join the action. Book your trip now at nationgear.ca. That's nationgear.ca. Join the boys in Nashville. It will be an absolute blast. March 20th to 23rd. What the hell is this dagger? Come on. AK, LOL, Zach, you look like you're 140 with boots on. Come on, man. That's just... Why? Why you gotta throw that at me? I was 140 when I went to university. I'm not now. So don't do that to me. We're right there. We're almost at... We're almost at 150. Keep hitting that like button, or almost at 50 likes here tonight. Over 150 viewers here. Make sure to keep liking the stream. Sparkle, guys, don't bring the camera in when you pee. Pee, though. Channel will go down. Agreed. Channel might be gone. Chill. Floyd Mayweather is 140. Michael Kirkpatrick says only if there's free grilled cheeses he'll book for Nashville. Diz K, Flo adds 5 pounds. I gotta cut it. I gotta cut it. It's too long now. Like, you guys can see how long it is now. It's insane. Brutal. 6 1/3. The mic is half your size. Come on, 6. I mean, maybe it's a big mic. Okay. let's talk about one other thing that you guys have been going on and on about in the chat here. I kind of want to hit on some of the key points of the chat and of the game tonight. A 6-4 win for the Maple Leafs. John Tavares, William Nylander, and Max Pacioretty finished the night -2. Each of them -2. Zeros across the board for William Nylander. Zeros across the board for Max Pacioretty. 1 assist for John Tavares. I see a lot of you guys talking about in the chat right now, John Tavares was bad. John Tavares is having a bad go. Someone earlier said they can't wait to see John Tavares go. Pump the brakes on some of this. A lot of time, I'm actually more inclined to agree with most of the chat, contrary to popular belief. I think you guys will see me go at people in the chat, but I think a lot of times that's just like one person who's sticking out and I'm disagreeing with who's going off in the chat at a time. For the most part, I agree with the majority of the chat. AK, that says that was me. AK, you got to pump the brakes on can't wait for John Tavares to be gone. He had a bad game. I don't think he played that well against the Islanders the other day either. But John Tavares has been unbelievable this season. He started a little bit slow for the first couple of games and has elevated his play game after game after game. It doesn't matter who he's playing with, who the wingers are. It doesn't matter what line, what minutes he's getting, who the opposition is, who his matchup is. He has been amazing this season. So much like the conversation that I had about Matthew Nyes when a lot of people were jumping on him there saying, okay, like switch him out, put Nick Robertson in, etc., 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 or this guy, it's time to move him down. He doesn't deserve top 6. Similar to that conversation, obviously people aren't saying like the exact same stuff about Tavares, but similar to that, he has shown us enough so far that I'm not going to jump all over him for this tough 3-game stretch that he's had. Yeah, he's found some points. He's found a way to get on the score sheet. He's found the back of the net. I think that's like something that people will come back at me and say, hey, you're saying he's not been that good. What about these assists and this goal? Johnny T has been awesome this whole year. It's game 40. In game 40, he was bad. Where I'm casting this is game 40 reaction. In game 40, he was bad. Agreed. My point is more so to those of you looking at this big picture saying, get rid of Johnny T, pump the fucking brakes. Now, do we have to point out the effort the execution of John Tavares tonight? 100%. John Tavares was not very good. The David Pastrnak goal, I believe that happened, was that one 34 seconds after the Leafs had scored there and taken the lead yet again. That was a brain-dead play by John Tavares. 34 seconds later, there's no way around that. You just get the lead. You go back to your defensive zone. You find a way there to steal the puck back, to force the Bruins, force a turnover from the Bruins just inside your blue line. You've got Nylander taking off up ice. You got Pacioretty trying to fly out on the other side to be an option for a pass. And John Tavares went full control or died. He just stood there like in an NHL video game when you're looking and trying to make a play and your teammate disappears and you're like, hey, you've got the puck. What are you doing? That's what Johnny T did. And he just stood there. Not aware of pressure, not aware of anybody back checking on him, not aware of the Bruins players circling him in the zone. There was like two in front of him. You got Pastrnak coming from behind. That puck gets stolen and turned around, and then David Pastrnak goes and rips past Joseph Woll. I mean, there's nothing else to say about that for Johnny T other than that was unbelievably brain dead and just brain shut off moment. He was not very good tonight. He had a couple of bad plays, bad passes, bad reads that took place. Now, the frustrating thing about this is that the way that line played in the first period, I thought that they were going to be fucking on fire tonight. I thought they were going to be lighting up the Bruins. There were shifts in that first period, especially I look at the one that they had basically immediately following the first line's bad shift. The first line goes in there, has almost gets scored on to open the game. And then the second line comes out. They win every single stick battle. They win every single puck battle, physical battle. They get down below the goal line. They're winning everything down there. They're bringing a puck out front, getting a couple of chances. Pacioretty rings one off the post after the Jake McCabe goal there. Like, that line was looking so good early, and then from that point, it just tailed off. Couple of things to note. Johnny T, Pacioretty are older players. There is a non-zero chance that Pacioretty and JT could be experiencing some fatigue. It's game 40. There is also a chance here that it is just a lull in his season. Players have ups and downs. A lot of times we look at a guy like Matthews and he goes 2-3 games without scoring goals and we're like, whoa, what happened here? Well, he's that good that if he goes 2 games without scoring, we're all spinning our heads around saying, how the fuck did this happen? How did we get here? How did he not score in these games? Maybe just JT, it's a little bit more pronounced because he is slower. Skating has never been his friend. Open ice has never been his friend. Transition on play has never been his friend. So when production is not there and these brain dead plays stick out, yeah, it's going to maybe look a little bit worse. And he did not look good tonight. You got to call it what it is. He did not look good tonight. David Gerard, should a teammate have given JT a heads up? Yes. That's a two-pronged thing. One, Johnny T's got to be aware of his surroundings. He has to be aware of surroundings. It's not just the fact that you're on the ice in the NHL. You're on the ice in the NHL in a 1-goal lead against the Boston Bruins inside your own fucking blue line. That's a pretty important time to be aware of your surroundings. Part 2, you're in your own zone with your defenseman and your bench right there. Your defensemen are right behind you. You've got guys who could be yelling 1 on, 1 on, 1 on, 2 on, move the puck, get it, like anything. Help here, whatever. But JT was standing still. His boots were not moving. He gets caught, and that's a terrible play that ends up in the back of your net. Could have ultimately been more costly. Ended up not being so. So kudos to the Leafs for not letting those moments kind of get the best of them. But yeah, the other thing, I saw another question in the chat here, which is another thing we'll get to before we get to our final segments and wrap up the show here tonight. But first was comments about William Nylander. 5 straight games that he's not scored a goal here now. And I know people are getting on him. I thought he looked really good in the early in the first period. Let me not just say the whole first period. Early in the first period. And then in the second period, there was a couple of shifts where I was like, holy shit, Nylander's doing it again, where he goes and he's just like the best player on the ice for a period of time. He looked awesome at points, but this has been a stretch for Nylander here now where it's been up and down, up and down. And he's not being unbelievable. He's not been jumping off the page. He's kind of just fit in, other than a couple of bursts where he's looked awesome. But the one thing I would say with Nylander, and you can't get into patterns and trends too much because things could always be proven wrong, and it's a trend until it's not, is William Nylander quite often does not allow these stretches over the last couple of years to extend far too long. And the other thing I'll point out, all 3 of those guys finished -2 tonight. Pacioretty, JT, and Nylander. Well, If William Nylander is finding ways to dominate in the offensive zone, if William Nylander is finding ways to take over the game and not be the way he has been tonight or in the past couple of games, maybe it's not the case for the Leafs. Like, maybe those guys are a zero. Maybe they don't score, but maybe goals don't happen against. And maybe their line looks better. Maybe the Bruins don't generate as much, whatever it might be. But if he's doing that because he's the best player on that line, he's the driver on that line, then he's going to change the momentum, change the way that they look. So, look, it's a tough stretch, but I think it'll be okay. And I think that line will be fine. Again, the thing with me for them tonight was more so that they had bad moments than they were bad tonight, if that makes sense. Like, they had some really bad moments that really stand out, and they need to be called out, and they can't just be excused, and I think that that's fair, but they had bad moments rather than just having a bad game. Like, I don't think that they were awful, but there were some holy shit, what just happened moments. That's the last thing of like some of the negative. The other thing, actually, I'll just point out quickly, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because they did win here tonight, and I do want to get to a lot of the positive and talk about positives of this. The fourth line, I don't know where you guys are at with the fourth line. Need an upgrade. Connor Dewar is going in there right now with Lorentz and Kampf. Dewar and Kampf are very similar. Way too much the same player. It's between those two and Pontus, you're just watching a carbon copy of the three, just one better than the other. And at some point here, and honestly, I think part of it is maybe my eyes are deceiving me, but I think in my brain, it's like, I think there's part of it in my brain right now that I'm looking at, and I'm like, okay, maybe Dewar's just cheaper, so that's why I think he's better than David Kampf. But like, I think you probably just need one of those guys, and the other two, Pontus or Kampf or Dewar, whichever one is not the one you pick, the other two can be moved on, or one of them can just sit in the press box and be your 13th forward. I just got to put that out there because tonight was another night that I watched these guys and was like, holy fuck. Like, they're not bad, I don't think. Tonight they didn't have a good game. Let me just say that. But tonight they're not bad, but it's just nothing. Nothing. Tonight was the worst that they've been, where there was plenty of chances for the Bruins when those guys were out there, which can't be happening for a line that can't fucking create offense. Let's be clear about that as well. But yeah, that was thoughts on the fourth line. Okay, let's get to, you know what? Let's get to our play of the game. Play of the game. Play of the game for me tonight, as I just chugged water. Play of the game is going to be... It's going to be Nye's hat-trick goal for numerous reasons. One of which being that it's his first career hat-trick. He's been in a slump here. He deserves a lot more credit for how good he's been this year, how good he's been as a rookie as a whole, how much he's made an impact here on an entry-level contract as a cheap player and a guy who's kind of stepped into the lineup and just said, give me top 6 minutes, give me net front on the power play, give it to me. I'm going to make the most of it every single time that I go out there. Matthew Knies has been out of his mind. And even though he slumped, he never gave up. He never dropped short of effort. The coach called him out. He got called out in the media and responded immediately. And that third line, that third goal, which I'll talk about some of the other ones, but that third goal was amazing play by Austin Matthews that makes this the play of the game more than the other one. So the reason I do that is because Matthew Nyes gets, or not, Austin Matthews gets down below the goal line, finishes a check on a defender after he's coming back from this back injury, separates the man from the puck, opens or blocks off and kind of boxes out the defender, brings his stick over to the side of the net in a position where he's now blocking off the defender off his back. He's not going to give up any kind of inside positioning. And he's got his stick around the net so that he can make a play out front, or if he wanted to, step out front himself. And as he does that, Matthew Nyes comes right down through the slot. He hits him and he buries that thing top corner, post and in. And that is the third goal. I know a lot of you guys are saying the second goal. I don't have any issue with that at all. I don't have any disagreement. I was very, very close to giving that one my play of the game here tonight, and the only reason that I didn't was just because the other factors that went into him being able to score that one. Credit to honorable mention Matthew Nyes' second goal. Jumping the defender in the middle of the ice, getting right past all in alone as he goes across the front, and then makes a play off his backhand to score past Swayman as he's going across the front of the net was just a disgusting goal, an awesome goal that gets scored there by him. It was fun. It was exciting. It happens at a huge moment. He's just an electric player. Honorable mention here as well goes to Jake McCabe, who gets his first of the season and is not only getting his first of the season, but snaps the defensive, this period for these guys where they just, this drought where they cannot find ways to get to the back of the net. Buries that one on a beautiful pass across from Marner. The other one that I wanted to give a shout out to is Austin Matthews diving and putting that thing into the empty net, hauling ass to kind of win that race against Pastrnak, recognizing he might not be able to beat him on the foot race, laying out and poking that puck forward that ends up going into the empty net, as Carl DeCunha is pissed off that I didn't give Matthews' diving goal my play of the game, but I'm only giving it an honorable mention. Carl, I'm sorry. It's not my play of the game. There were other ones here for me that were a little bit higher than that one tonight, but it does deserve recognition, okay? It does deserve recognition. Great moment, yes. Great hustle, yes. What a way to cap that one off and get that one past Pastrnak. It's all good, Carl. It's in there. It's in the top place. It's just not number one. I'm sorry. The other thing, quickly here, Robert Daly. Matthews probably knows if he's ready more than you would, Zack. Robert, I don't disagree. I don't have any disagreement with that. Couple of points. One, athletes, I'm sure a lot of you guys included, myself included, is especially hockey players. Maybe, I don't know, throw football players in there, but lacrosse players as well, rugby players. Those guys can fit into these categories. Basketball, no, not a shot. Soccer, not a shot. Those guys are not fitting in this category. But a lot of times these guys will just play through injury and say, I can play, I want to play, I will play, because they just fight through stuff. I used to do it. I'm sure a lot of you guys used to do it. Pretend that an injury isn't as bad as it is. Thrown out shoulder. Let's just tape it up. Things will be okay. These guys will just fight through stuff and pretend it's not as bad as it is so that they can go out on the ice and play. So that's one point. I'm not saying he's doing that, but I'm just saying it's a possibility. Second, I'm not saying he's not ready to go. I'm not saying Matthews is not back and getting back to health. My whole point is it's surprising that they would bring him back in the game against the Bruins. He missed a month, went to Germany secretly, which was all fucked on its own, goes to Germany secretly, gets treatment done, comes back, then finally plays after a month away, after just being named the captain. He disappears to a different country to go and get these treatments done, comes back because he got, it looks like, back issues, gets cross-checked in the game against the Sabres in the lower back, re-aggravates said injury, which they won't tell us exactly what it is, but re-aggravates said injury. He goes out again. And then I'm like, that was in a game against Buffalo. I'm not saying he doesn't want to play these games. And I love that he wanted to. I love that he was involved. I love that he was in this. My whole point is, I don't give a shit about what happens in the regular season here. I don't care about what happens in the regular season. It's all about the playoffs. What happens when they get to the playoffs? And if this guy's going to risk injury or get himself injured during the season and be out of the lineup, like, that's not a risk I'm willing to take. I'd rather him heal up and then be more healthy and be back to a place where this injury is not going to be so easily re-aggravated come playoff time. And in a game against the Bruins, it feels like that's a much more likely scenario for him to get cross-checked or hit or have a check finished on him. That's going to re-aggravate it. And that was the concern ahead of this game specifically. As Robert Daly is pissed. Hey, Zack, you talk a lot, but don't really say anything. Hey, Robert, you're here. You're commenting. Sorry, brother. But yeah, those are kind of the thoughts on Matthews and just kind of why I was leaning more towards him not playing and holding him out and letting him get some extra rest, especially against the Bruins, especially on the first night of a back-to-back. Like, what happens if he just like doesn't play tomorrow for just like a rest? People are going to freak. It's like the team's just managing it, which I saw a quote from Craig Berube that said they're going to try to find a way to manage this. If they do that tomorrow, people are going to go nuts. What else do we got here? Question from Ryan Wheatley. Question, should Matthews play in the Four Nations? He's going to play. I think it doesn't matter at this point. We're so close to the Four Nations. This is a conversation we've had 10 million times. Should he not? He wants to play. It seems like he's going to play. I mean, there's nothing around. No way you can get around this here now. So, I mean, I think that's just probably part of what I'm assuming only. This is not information I know. I'm assuming only. It feels like maybe he could get surgery here and is choosing not to because that could be like, it feels like there's an option here for surgery being the more extreme way to remove this, and they're choosing not to. A, because the Leafs want him to play, and B, because maybe Four Nations coming up, you'd like to go there. The second part, the U.S., is just an assumption on my behalf. I don't know that for fact, so like, let's not go quoting that, but just pointing that out. We did hit 50 likes here on the stream. Thank you so much to everyone who's liked it, subscribed. Leafs Nation 401 right here on YouTube, whether it's Leafs Morning Take, if it's the game previews, if it's After Dark, it's all coming out here on this channel. We appreciate all of you guys for the support. You guys hit 50 on the stream here tonight. Let's get it to 100 before we close, but 50, thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscriptions. We appreciate it. Oh, there you go. I've been bringing these to my men's league hockey team. The boys love them. The boys love them. Now, I will say, I had been wearing a visor, and before the break, for the first time before the break, I got a stick to the side of the visor, and then off the draw, a guy's went and hit it, and the puck came up and hit the bottom of the visor. And that was the last game I played before the break. And I was like, okay, that was sketchy. And then I go to watch the World Juniors, and I see these guys, and I saw like 4 guys get hit in the face with the puck. And I was like, that's it. That's it for me. Put the fishbowl back on. I'm wearing the fishbowl now. The issue is, it's impossible to do the smelling salts on the bench. Like, you gotta have to unbuckle it, take it off, and do that if you're gonna do it. The boys are all fired up. Everyone's got the smelling salts. And then now I gotta do that. Like, everyone's got through the cages. One other guy on the team, my guy, he's in here actually in the chat very frequently. He's got the bubble as well, but we're the only ones. You got to do the salts with the bubble. You got to take it off and do it. Like, It's a pain in the ass. But best thing you could do. Best thing I could do. Especially if I'm coming on here. I would look like an idiot if my eye was swollen shut because of that. Yeah, so that's it. The bubble is back on, and it's here to stay. Let's get to a couple other things before we wrap up here tonight. Let's now get to our final, or our second last segment. I almost said our final segment. Second last segment of the night here. Let's get to our second last segment of the night, and that would be our best bets. And our best bets are brought to you by Bet365, proud partner Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation after dark. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. Code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N, all caps. Make sure to head on over to Bet365 today. Today's best bet, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I was this close. And I know close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades and not here with our best bets, but I was this close to giving out an Austin Matthews anytime goal at like plus 145. And I was like, I have some serious concerns that this guy's injured. I have some serious concerns about him coming back here against this Bruins team. I was like, man, this is a game where he could get hit. He could leave early. Like, I'm going to give this out. He's not going to score. The chat's going to lose it on me. Why would you do that? In his first game back, he's coming back from injury. We knew he was going to be tentative. Like, I could picture all of these reasons that I would lose this bet. And you guys would be like, you're an idiot. Why'd you give that? And then I didn't. And I decided to give William Nylander anytime goal. What the hell? What a mistake that was. It was the same odds for Nylander anytime goal. We lost a half unit on this one here tonight. We end up going down 1.5 units on the season, which is just unfortunate because we were having a good run there. We got ourselves back. We were up in the green, and then we went on a heater, or a freezer, excuse me, to get us down on the year. Then we go on a heater to get us back up on the year, and now we're back in another freezer. Lost our last 6 in a row. That would be Nylander anytime goal here tonight. Barzal under 2.5 shots on goal on Thursday. He had 4. Nice power play point on Tuesday. Did not have one there. Obviously, the power play just stinks on its own. And then Nylander anytime goal again, and John Tavares over 3.5 shots on goal prior to that. So those are the last 5 losers that we've had. 6 losers. Nick Robertson anytime goal against Winnipeg. So last 6 losers. I apologize. That puts us now down 1.5 on the units. But the one thing that I will say in my defense is we are hammering out bets here. Like, we're through 40 games on the season. We've given out 44 best bets, and to only be down 1.4 units or 1.5 units at this point, I'll take it. We can very easily get ourselves back. And you're right, Sparkle guys. I should have gone with my first instinct and gone with Matthews. I was this close to giving it out and didn't do it. And then I thought about doing Matthew Knies anytime goal and didn't do it here either. So what a joke. I apologize for that, but yeah. Ryan Wheatley, Zack, knew you wore a bubble. Well, I wore a cage my whole life. 1 year in my second last year of midget hockey, our forwards coach owned a pro shop and got all the boys fish bowls as a Christmas gift. That was when fish bowls were like sick and like they're blowing up and they're all over social media. You know, all the Instagram kids are wearing fish bowls. So he bought all the boys fish bowls for Christmas. We went on a trip in Calgary, and he gave them all to us. We brought them all out there. I wore it like 2 games, but I would get pissed off because I was like, I'm wearing these things in a game, and then I don't like it, so then I would take it off and switch it between periods and go back to the cage. And I would try to wear it in practice, and I would get pissed off in the practice, and I was like, I don't want to wear this in a practice with it, get used to the vision, and then not like it in a game, and then switch away from it. So I've always just had it. And then I finally went to university, and I was like, you know what? Let me throw this thing on. Got the 4500, got the fishbowl. Let me throw it on there. Rip that thing together, and I kind of liked it. But then I went back to the visor playing with some of my buddies, and then it was just like a couple weeks ago, I saw some stuff. I saw these guys at the World Juniors, and I said, that's it for me. I'm going back to the fishbowl. Back to the fishbowl. 4500. the fishbowl, and that's what I'm rocking. Seemed to do pretty well last night. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, final thing here as we wrap up the show tonight. Let's get to our grades of the game. You guys send your grades in the chat as I give mine out here. Thank you to everyone who's watched tonight. We are very, very close to 100 likes here on the show, so keep hitting that like button. Any and all super chats go to, the proceeds go to Sick Kids Charity, so make sure to get your super chats in. We'll continue to break those down here. We'll be back here tomorrow as well, which is another thing. Game preview, tee up what's going on tomorrow night against the Flyers. We'll also be back for a post-game show, another After Dark. I think my best, my grade of the game tonight is going to be a B. I feel like I'm kind of right in this middle spot of the way that these guys played. I don't think it was like an unbelievable game. I want to cut out, like, even if the Bruins tie it up, I'd rather cut out the goals, 16 seconds later, 34 seconds later. Like, those can't be happening. I don't think Wall played that great. Like, this is, a game where he got by, he got through. I don't think he's the reason that this one was tight or anything like that. But he does finish the night with an 8-7-1. I feel like there's a couple that maybe he might want to have back, or not even just the ones that beat him, but a couple moments where he left a rebound out there that he shouldn't have. He left out a bigger... or like played the puck back when he shouldn't have, or made a weird play behind the net when he was trying to stop the puck or make a play. Like, there was a couple shaky, dicey moments in all of it. I don't think he had the best game. The second line stunk. The fourth line stunk. Like, those are just realities of the night here tonight, which in a 6-4 win against the Bruins, like, swings you to, that's a positive. You found a way to do this, but it's also, I wish it wasn't that sloppy and where those guys were at. The other thing to look at here, unbelievable job on the penalty kill, 2 for 2. I mean, the Bruins power play not very good right now, but still 2 for 2 on the power play. And on the flip side, 0 for 2, or 2 for 2 on the penalty kill, sorry. 2 for 2 on the penalty kill, 0 for 2 on the power play. Those have to be, the power play's got to figure itself out. All I'm going to say there, we've dug into it far too much, but that's it. Dennis Shabbat. I've seen a fishbowl collapse inward from a blocked shot. For me, it's cage or no play. I mean, the fishbowl is at least worn in like junior hockey and in college hockey, and I'm like 99% sure that most guys that I'm playing against in my men's league are not shooting the puck hard enough to do that. And even if it does break, I'd rather it break than it hit my face and break. You get what I'm saying? That's going to do it for me here on the post-game show tonight. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in and watching. Game number 40 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season against the Boston Bruins. They win this one here tonight 6-4, moving to 25-13-2 on the year. We will be back tomorrow for another game preview and another edition of Leafs Nation After Dark. Thank you all for watching here tonight. Make sure to hit that like button on your way out. Subscribe here to the channel. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow night for another After Dark. Until then, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos, make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.